If you've ever watched your child fall apart over something that seems so small to everyone else, this video is for you because there's a very specific kind of exhaustion that parents feel when they know their child's struggling, but no one can quite explain why. It shows up when you leave birthday parties early because the noise is too much, or when you dread school mornings because every transition turns into a battle, and when you hear phrases like, "they're just sensitive," or "they'll grow out of it." But deep down, you know this is more than a phase. My name is Dr. Steve Lako, and in our office at Lako Family Chiropractic, we work with kids like this every single day. Families who love their children deeply, but feel stuck trying to figure out why everything seems harder than it should be. What you're seeing is not bad behavior, and it's not poor parenting. It's very often nervous system overwhelm. And once you understand that difference, everything starts to make more sense. At its core, sensory processing is simply how your child's brain takes in information from their body and the world around them and decides what to do with it. Because every second of the day, their nervous system is sorting through touch, sound, light, movement, balance, body position, and internal sensations like hunger and discomfort. And most of us filter this automatically without even thinking about it. We can sit in a noisy restaurant and tune things out. We can wear certain clothes without noticing the fabric, and we can walk through a crowded store without feeling attacked by the lights or the sounds. But some children do not have that filter. And for them, everything comes in louder, brighter, faster, and heavier, so the tag in their shirt feels scratchy all day. The classroom sounds chaotic instead of manageable. The lights feel harsh, transitions feel abrupt, and even normal daily input feels like too much, which means their brain is constantly working overtime just to exist in environments that feel easy for other kids. When a child struggles with sensory processing, the problem's not motivation or personality, it's organization inside the brain. Because the nervous system's not interpreting sensory information efficiently, and in more clinical language, we sometimes call this disafferentation, which simply means that the signals coming into the brain are too strong, too weak, or poorly organized, so the brain never feels certain about what is happening around it. When the brain cannot accurately interpret it, it does not feel safe. And when the brain doesn't feel safe, it turns on protection mode, which means stress physiology turns on automatically, not because the child chooses it, but because their body believes it has to in order to defend itself. And that is where we start to see what I often describe to parents as stress that is stuck on. Healthy nervous system should be able to move smoothly between alert and calm states, turning stress on when needed and turning it off when the environment's safe. But many sensory kids never fully turn it off, which means their sympathetic fight or flight system stays active longer than it should, and their parasympathetic rest and regulate system never comes online strongly enough. So even safe environments can feel unsafe. Their heart rate stays slightly higher, their breathing stays more shallow, their muscles stay tense, and their brain keeps scanning for threats. And when a body lives like that all day long, everything feels harder because sleep gets lighter, emotions get bigger, focus gets shorter, and recovery takes longer, not because the child's dramatic, but because their physiology never truly downshifts into calm. This is why some kids cover their ears in loud places, or refuse certain clothes, or melt down in crowded rooms. And it's always why other kids seem to seek constant movement, spinning, crashing, jumping, and climbing like they're trying to fill a bucket that never feels full. Some children withdraw and avoid everything while others push their body into everything. But both patterns come from the same place, which is a nervous system trying to organize confusing input. We sometimes see movement challenges too, what we might call dyskinesia, where coordination looks clumsy or inefficient, handwriting's hard, sports feel frustrating, and the child seems disconnected from their own body. And again, this is not laziness or lack of effort. It's the brain struggling to map where the body is in space. part that breaks parents' hearts is that these kids are often incredibly sweet and incredibly bright, and they're just trying so hard every single day. But imagine being in an environment where everything feels louder and heavier and faster than it should, and then being asked to sit still and listen and focus and behave and socialize like nothing's wrong. That level of constant effort is exhausting. So by the time they get home, their tank is empty, which is why so many parents say their child's fine at school but falls apart at home. Because home is the only place their body finally feels safe enough to release everything it has that has been holding on for that entire day. And that meltdown is not manipulation or disrespect. It's a nervous system that cannot carry that load anymore. This is also where the wait and see advice becomes so frustrating, because if a nervous system never learns to regulate better, it does not magically improve with time. It adapts, and often those adaptations turn into bigger challenges later. The toddler who is labeled sensitive becomes the elementary school child who struggles with attention and friendships, then the middle schooler with anxiety and stomach aches, then sometimes a teenager who feels overwhelmed, withdrawn, or depressed. And it can look like new problems appearing at every stage. But underneath, it's often the same nervous system pattern that has been there all along, simply expressed differently as life demands increase. In our office, we don't start with behavior charts or discipline strategies, because behavior is the last thing to change, not the first. So instead, we look at the nervous system itself. We measure the autonomic nervous system. We assess how well your child can move between stress and calm. We look for patterns of dysregulation or dysautonomia, and we track these changes over time with objective technology, so we are not guessing based on good days or bad days. Our goal is not to force your child to act differently. It's to help their body feel safer and more organized so regulation happens naturally. Because when the nervous system improves, we often see deeper sleep, calmer emotions, better focus, fewer meltdowns, and a child who simply feels more comfortable in their own body. If you've been watching this and quietly thinking, this sounds exactly like my child, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not imagining it, you're not overreacting, and your child's not broken. In many cases, they simply have a nervous system that's never fully learned how to regulate. And when we support that system, the changes can be life-changing. We see this every week in our practice. Kids who were labeled difficult, sensitive, or anxious start sleeping better, they calming faster, focusing more, and finally feeling comfortable in their own body. And parents often tell us the same thing, that they feel like they finally understand their child for the first time, instead of constantly fighting behavior. If you want help making sense of what you're seeing, we share a lot of practical education across our social channels and on our website, so you can start learning right away. And if this feels personal, if you're thinking, is this my kid, you don't have to figure it out alone. You can reach out and message us privately anytime. We're always happy to talk through your child's situation and help you decide what the next right step looks like. Follow along, explore the resources, and reach out when you're ready. That's exactly why we're here.